Hello. This is part 3 of The Universe is a Mind, and I've been receiving more and more insights each day in meditation, so I'm just going to share a few today. Um, one of the biggest problems with accepting that the universe is a mind, first of all, we don't know what mind is. That makes it kind of difficult to argue about. But secondly, our normal methodology, which is that's not the study of methods, it's actually part of investigative science. So when you design an experiment to reveal something, you're actually designing the methodology for investigation. So you set up certain tests, and you would say that if these tests yield certain results, then we've proved the point. So you've got the three the pillars of investigation, which are methodology, which is the way that you investigate it; epistemology, which is your results or flags; and then ontology is what you define. So in order to define that the universe is a mind, we've got to have some way of measuring it, and the method that we design to measure it is the methodology of measurement, and then the results are the epistemology, or data basically, that we accrue from the experiments. But the problem is scale. So on a very normal scale, when we're talking about a scientist calculating the stopping distance of a truck, we know what we're doing. We've got Newtonian science. It's very, very consistent. It always does the same thing. Gravity is 9.8 meters per second. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. But what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the universe as a mind is a realm of measurement that, first of all, we can't actually measure it, but secondly, it doesn't obey any of the laws of normal science, because what I'm arguing is that it's the collective effect of mind that creates atoms and molecules, and that within years ago the Victorians and before used to talk about something called the ether, and the ether was what existed in space. It was a sort of non-substantial substance that light travelled through, and they said that light was waves in the ether. Well, the conclusion I've come to is that what they originally called the ether, I think Einstein called it the electromagnetic field. I think what I'm suggesting is that the ether is the mind of God. And so the problem is that I've come up with a way of describing it, but no way of proving it. And the way that I'm trying to describe it at the moment is that we've got two halves to the mind. One is called formatrons, and the other is creatrons. And I've borrowed the idea from Chinese Taoism, which involves yin and yang. So formatrons are the aspect of the mind that will take on and obey the command to produce formation. So formatrons form what we look at, and we call those percepts. But creatrons are the other aspect of the universal mind, which is closest to yang. So it's active, it's agitating, and it's defining. So vibrations within the creatron matrix cause the formatron aspect of the mind to take on the qualities that it commands it to. So, for example, if a creatron or a group of creatrons send a vibration through the ether or the mind of God, then the formatrons will pick up this vibration and form, let's say, a hydrogen atom. When we look at quantum mechanics, the two-slit theory, it explains that until there is observation, what is moving is a probability wave. Now, my argument is that a probability wave is actually a kind of transmission of information, and it only becomes formative. So it could be, if you think of a TV signal, the TV signal sends a vibration through the air. The vibration going through the air is nothing. You could put your hand there, it would go through it. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, there's nothing. But when you decode it with a television set and through an aerial, it actually turns it into a picture, like the picture that you're looking at. So there's a lot of information that we're already aware of that can travel as information, purely as coded information, that actually leads to what we would say formation. So this picture that we're looking at now is a form. You can see me, you can see my shirt, you can see my head and so on. The form is there because there's a message gone down a wire and then it's gone through a series of decoders. So what I'm saying is that if we think in terms of the creatron energy agitates the formatrons into formation within the mind of the universe, then that would explain how things get to be here. But what we've got to remember here is that I'm not talking about something that you can measure. When creatrons vibrate the thought of a hydrogen atom, that thought contains width, height, depth, mass, spin, valency, position in time and space. All that information has to be coded in within the thought to cause the formatrons to know what to produce. But we're not talking about atomics, we're talking about subatomics. So I'm saying that at a very, very subtle level, it reminds me of the Maharishi talking about how things manifest from a very subtle level of mind. And I think he meant very subtle, like 10 to the minus 47. I actually think smaller than Planck's constant. At that level, thoughts can actually create manifest events such as atoms, molecules, etc. Now, I think that predominantly our soul is made up of creatronic energy. So our soul has the capacity to direct what's happening, to interpret what's going on, to observe what's going on. And actually, in the two-slit theory, it is actually creatronic energy that causes the probability wave to collapse. I'm having fun with these ideas, so I hope I'm not boring you. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back with some more soon. Okay, bless.